Hey, good morning everyone. So I neglected to post a video in March, but mostly because I've been crazy busy. The weather has been changing wildly here in Tucson, Arizona. We went from 60 to I think 102 in about 2 weeks, which it was around our last frost date, mid-March, that we hit 100. We set a record. So I've been kind of harvesting like crazy, planting like crazy, getting stuff in the garden, getting stuff in the kitchen, trying to preserve things. So it's been kind of a mad dash to get stuff done, but I've been filming throughout. So I kind of put a compilation together of all the things that I've been harvesting through the garden and a little bit of what I've done with it. But this video is going to be mostly just hanging out in the garden and harvesting some of the fruits and veggies. So I hope you enjoy. One of the benefits of not having a super harsh winter, particularly in southern Arizona, is tomatoes and peppers. If you protect them, they'll last throughout the cold months. We always get a great crop of lettuce. We always get really nice cilantro growing. And, a few times we'll have to protect them from a frost if we get a hard frost, but it doesn't happen too often. Here's some more peppers that I've been growing for probably the last year, and they're a perennial, so they'll come back year after year. Same with these jalapenos. They'll just keep going as long as you keep trimming them and fertilizing them.
Yeah, I'm excited about this game. It's extremely good.
You just harvest them when you need to. It's really nice to have a volunteer, something you didn't deliberately put in but produces for you. Another cut and come again thing is these onions. You can just come and trim them off and they'll just keep growing, and they're perfectly fine to eat. Look at that. Love food porn. And this is everything that I cut from the garden this day. And I just wanted to chop it up and ended up making like a fajita style dinner with this. But this is always my hardest part in the garden, is actually processing the stuff that I pick. I'm really good at growing it, I'm really good at picking it, but then actually doing something with it, I tend to fall off a little bit, which is really silly because it's the best part of gardening, is being able to eat your own food and feel accomplished that you've done something and you didn't have to rely on a store to get what you needed. But inevitably I forget that I've got it, and then it isn't good, and then I have to chop it up and give it to the chickens. Because I'm incapable of doing one thing at a time. I'm going to tend to the garden a little bit. I just checked the weather, and it was, I think, 60 2 or 3 days ago and raining. You can see it was cloudy in the last video, or the last part of the video. It's going to be 101 in a couple days, and I've got a bunch of stuff that I desperately need to put into the ground, and a bunch of stuff that's needing thinned out. So I already started. I'm going to show you. I already started thinning this out. So you saw in the last video that this tomato here was pretty dense, and so I started thinning it out. I'm not sure if it'll continue to grow well this season. I planted that, I think, last spring, and it's still going. It's still going strong. So I tied it up, I thinned a bunch of it out. So I think I can add a couple more peppers in there. I try not to plant the same variety in the beds season after season, because that can promote too many pathogens and cause plant stress. But I need to thin out. We've got like dichondra growing down in here. These onions are starting to flower. Some of the peppers over there are starting to look kind of crappy. Sorry for this weird video. Gotta tend to the chickens. The beets are doing all right. Those are looking real pretty. know a lot of people don't like beets, but God, they're beautiful. But yeah, you can see I'm getting some insect activity on these, but I don't think they're ready for harvest yet. I'm gonna go over here. A bunch of carrots, but I'm not sure they're ready to come out yet. So let's have a look. Alright, I'm gonna take you off the tripod real quick. Alright. So to check carrots, typically what you do is you want to come under here to the very base of them and just kind of see if they're poking out. If they're poking out of the soil, they're close to ready. But that's a pretty pitiful looking carrot. That guy's only 2.5 inches long. These aren't a particularly long variety of carrot, so I'm not too concerned about it, but I probably won't pull many of these. Like if you look down in there, you don't see any orange. You kind of want to look for the flashes of orange. Oh, see, there's a good one right there. Let's see what this guy looks like. Oh, pulled a couple of them out of there. That's what I get for planting too dense, but that one's much better. So you can see the difference between those two. But so I'll probably still give these some time. Got a couple little strawberries coming. Nice. Everything else is trying to grow, but I gotta tend to everything. Everything's looking a little shabby, but we'll get it going. All right, I'm just gonna putz around in the garden. All right, so I think I'm gonna pull this kale out. As you can see in here, the plant is stressed, and so it's starting to get a bunch of aphids on it. You might be able to see them if I shake it. You can see them, they kind of fall out like snow. And whereas I don't particularly want to eat aphids on my kale, the chickens love it. Here's another 2 weeks later. I came back to check the carrots, and some of them were starting to get woody and picking up in their stems a little bit. So even though they're not all ready, I'm going to come through and probably harvest. I think I harvested about 1/3 of them. It's okay if they're not fully formed. You can still eat them. They're still incredibly sweet. It'd be nice if more were full-sized. These are Danvers, because you can just pull them out in big clumps. I always overseed my carrots. I do it on purpose. I know most people will probably scoff at this particular method, but I end up with 10 pounds of carrots easily. And the thing that's really interesting when you grow carrots yourself is how long they stay good for in the fridge. They'll keep for many months compared to what you get in the grocery. It's another example of a volunteer plant. I've got this cherry tomato that just came up under a different bush. Most likely from when I seeded some trays, but it just keeps producing. Very little water is given to it, very little fertilizer, and it just keeps chugging along. So what I'm doing here is I'm thinning the beets out a little bit. These beets aren't big enough to eat by themselves, but you can eat the beet greens, the tops of the beets, and they're just fine. Add them to a salad or saute them. But beets, unlike carrots, they don't want to be overcrowded. They start pushing up out of the soil, and so I'm mostly thinning them out right now so the ones that are still under the dirt can plump up and get a little bigger. Then I'll pickle them or something. I'm not sure what I'll do with them. That one's a good size. And when you're out in the garden, make sure you never forget chickie snacks. They look at these plants all day, and I can only imagine they just want to chew on them, so I always try to give them a little something. Here I've got some snap peas. These produced really well, really fast, faster than I was expecting, but they grew really, really well. In between seasons is always a difficult time for gardeners. We don't want to pull out plants that are still producing and want to start new crops, but gotta consider what's still in the garden and what could be in the garden. You know, take it easy on yourself. Just because there's planting calendars, nothing's a hard rule. Your garden's your garden and you should do what you want with it. And then, inevitably, you're gonna reap the reward. It was a little bit of a different video this time, but I appreciate you guys hanging out in the garden today. If you like this, give me a like, give me a subscribe. Post in the comments, tell me what you're excited to plant this summer and spring season. And until next time, go out and plant something.